Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Good morning. When you think they can't go any further, and Oprah Winfrey is the furthest they've gone, they've now come up with this fairy tale for dupes, and believe that nobody can see through it.
Yes.
I'm afraid they've got it wrong. The timing, we can all see through their relationship. It's not making any statement. Anyone can have someone come along and take pictures. There's nothing like that. We see Harry looking very miserable, and we see her dismissing him in public. Oh, Harry, and then roaring with laughter at him. I mean, that's what is telling about a relationship. I'm not saying they're not in love, but that's their business, isn't it?
Right.
I don't want to invade that sort of privacy. Not one bit.
No, I mean, somebody said this morning on Jeremy's show, anyone could make a documentary. You just have somebody follow you around for a while, but nobody would be that narcissistic to think that anybody would be bothered about watching it. The idea that they're in some terrible place as a result of some terrible wrongdoing that they suffered, where they're living in a 16-room bedroom mansion, and they're living in absolute and utter luxury, making hundreds of millions of dollars off the fact that he's a member of the royal family, but they're blaming the royal family for their terrible state that they're in. You just go, man, there are people being killed in wars around the world. There are people dying of hunger. There are people who can't afford to heat their own homes. I mean, do you really think that people think that you've got a bad life going on?
You see, they think that they've got a bad life. So they're therefore, because they're so focused on themselves, they think everyone else thinks the same of them. But I mean, I couldn't understand how the stakes were so high. What stakes are they?
What is she talking about?
It's a nonsense comment. Often there's something like this you can't actually understand. But the interesting thing is, if you hate someone, if you really don't like it, you don't want to work with them, go away. Your own life, don't have anything to do with them. But it's not, there's some sort of something that's eating inside, particularly Meghan, I feel, that's got to take revenge, that's got to win, that's got to destroy.
Yes.
And partly because they know that it's very difficult for the royal family to counteract what they're saying. So I think we do, who feel that it's totally unfair and unkind and spiteful even, and then they send out, well, I don't know if they send out actually, but they have Meghan followers who then go around being incredibly unpleasant to any journalist who criticises them.
No,
I've been told to kill myself several times in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, they're dreadful. I mean, I just block them on immediate. As soon as I see them, I just block them now. But there's millions of them,
There's loads of them, and that's how they that's the only way, actually. They can say they hate the press, but actually it's the press they thrive on. But it's also the press that helps the royals, or should do, and criticises them, which they absolutely don't like and have to attack again.
But isn't it the case that a while ago that she issued some kind of statement which was sort of distancing herself from this Netflix documentary, in which she said, they've done some things which we wouldn't have had them do. But now in the trailer, she's saying, don't you want the story told by us? Well, which one of those things is true?
Well, what she meant by that, I think, is that she took the director because he has a very high rating and he's, very good. But he hasn't let her have every say, or Harry either, every say in how it's shown and what is said and what's in and what's out, which is what they do when they pay you millions. I wouldn't have experienced it. That's what I believe.
Didn't the director change as well? Didn't one director leave?
Yes, they didn't like it. Yes, well, I think they're renowned for being difficult to work with. But it's a Meghan's out protest that she can say, well, that was nothing to do with me. I didn't want that bit in, as if she's sort of angelic about the whole thing. So if we hear or see things that are quite critical or show them in and not such a bright light, she can opt out, because nobody is allowed to criticise Meghan or show a darker side, an alternative side of her. I mean, it just is too terrible for words, isn't it? And to do it when William and Catherine are doing something that they claim is so important, you know, the environment, looking after it. They still go in their private jets, which gobble up all sorts of things. And they've come here to give Earthshot Prize Awards with people who are not wealthy, who've come up with a very good idea to help them, £1 million, to help them on their way to save the world. If you believe that the world needs saving, they do very strongly, and yet they still want to wipe them out and put their own show on first, which looks as if it's incredibly superficial.
Yes, and also Harry's statement in that trailer, I had to do all I could to help my family or to protect my family. Well, his family is also the royal family, unless his mission on this particular project is to basically denounce all of them and say that he's no longer part of it.
Well, I don't know why they don't, actually. I mean, they're hanging on to their... Well, I do, really, because they're hanging on to their titles, because that's what gives them the jobs and the work and the money. But it's Prince Harry's title. Meghan has got it through marriage. But if they don't want it, they should just have their own lives. They don't seem to enjoy their own lives. They're set on a negative path to bring down the monarchy.
Yes. I've got a tweet here from somebody calling themselves The Power. I'm waiting for season 2 when Meghan convinces Harry he's gay and a trans woman. It worked for the Kardashians. We should perhaps leave it at that.
Yeah, there's nothing I can say about that.
But they are they're becoming the Kardashians, aren't they? I mean, that's what the Daily Mail's more or less saying today.
I've never seen the Kardashians. They don't interest me at all. What I look at is the way they behave and how they treat other people, and the hypocrisy that they live with. I've rarely come across such active hypocrites. You can't really trust them with anything they say.
I mean, every single thing that they have said, they have sort of reversed on, haven't they? Almost every single assertion, almost every fact that they've uttered, almost everything that they've said was the reason for doing something, turns out not to be.
Yeah, well, fine example is the fact that they said, we just want to get this about the royals, and then we're moving on. We've had the same thing since they left in 2020. So each time it's... you think it's about time they sort of thought of a really good project, but it's the documentaries about them. When they do any charitable work, they have a lot of photographers, and that's about them. It's all about them within the royal family. No one says it's easy, and if she didn't like it, the Queen did say at the beginning, carry on acting, and she didn't want to. She wanted to throw herself into all the work, but because she wasn't in control. Because she wasn't in control, she didn't like to do that. No. And, well, go away. But it's endless. I don't know how much more we can take of the same old rhetoric.
I know.
I know.
It's just dreadful.
With marked exaggeration.